Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button. There you go, right down there. If you want to be among the first to hear my weekly takes, NFL, college football, more, right there.
He wants to play football so badly. Like, I get it. I don't blame him. Did you see LeBron's quote? LeBron had a quote after the game that I thought was so fascinating. It was also almost a little sad. And it made me think of Brady to a degree, where LeBron said, I think to Dave McMenamin, along the lines of, I'm never going to be bad. But at some point I'm going to have to stop. And he basically said, like, I'm not chasing anything anymore. I've accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. But at some point I've got to stop playing. And it was such a unique thing because I watched it. I'm like, yeah, he's never going to be, never's a long time, obviously, but I think 5 years from now, LeBron would be good. I do. You know what I mean? Right now, what is he? At best, the 6th best player in the league, and at worst, the 12th best player in the league. He's somewhere in there. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's better, in my opinion, clearly than Devin Booker, and Devin Booker's an all-NBA guy.
He led the NBA in fourth quarter buckets and playoff buckets.
Right. And so and he played 71 games. So it's such a unique spot for LeBron, which is like most guys get forced out. Most guys, you know what I mean? They have they're averaging 5 points a game. So he's not going to be that. So at some point, he's just going to have to be like, I guess I'm done. I'm stopping. And that's kind of what happened with Tom. Like, I understand the Bucks were not good Tom's last year, but the year before he almost won MVP. He still threw for a million yards.
He's better than half the quarterbacks today. Easily.
No question. And he just stopped. And I understand there was family stuff he's dealing with. I get it. But I think every time someone puts a microphone in front of him, he clearly is like, God damn it, I want to play football. I miss playing football. And he's going to be with Fox and calling games, and maybe that'll scratch the itch. But it also might make him watch these guys and be like, God dog it, I'm better than that guy. And so, like, it's a weird spot. We're seeing two guys, LeBron nearing the end and Brady, who just ended, who played longer than anybody ever in the history of their field and at a higher level than anyone ever thought, who both, Brady already had to, and LeBron's going to have to. We're going to have to oddly make the decision of, like, I guess I just should stop because I'm old, but I'm not bad. And it's such a weird thing. Like, people are like, oh, John Elway went out on top. John Elway went out winning Super Bowls, but he was not good anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm not disrespecting John, but, like, he was a shell of the player that he was. Peyton Manning went out winning a Super Bowl, was 9 touchdowns, 17 picks that year, was a shell. Even the guys who go out on top are usually not good anymore. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Brady seems to still miss it. I don't know what LeBron's going to do.
I'll tell you, Brady is, I'll probably get in trouble saying this, but Brady, his preparation for broadcasting at Fox, dude, he's in the building.
Oh, you're not going to
He was in the building
today. You're not going to get in trouble for saying that. I think they love
He was in the building today. The next 3 days, he's in the building practicing. Like, Brady is as obsessed about this. People don't understand.
Oh, I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be great because he's competitive. I think I think the key to so much of this is competitive. And I think that there is Tom had, and I don't know Tom at all, but he had recently, in the last year, he did an interview, and he was talking about during the game, and was basically about how, like, he hated who he was playing against. Like, he would build up an anger and, like, the real, like, froth because he's competitive. And now I think he's going to look around and be like, I need to be better. And it helps that most of the other people in his spot are quarterbacks too. I need to be better than Troy. I need to be better than Tony. I know Collinsworth's not a quarterback, but I think he's going to want to be considered the best. And there was always, you remember, God, it feels like a lifetime ago, but during when Deflategate happened and Tom unfairly had his text messages leaked, and the text message to his, I think it was his dad, maybe it was his friend, about Peyton, and they were talking about back and forth, and Tom said, he's like, yeah, but I'm going to play 5 more years and Peyton's done, and then it's not even going to be a debate. And by the way, he was right about that. That's exactly what happened. But I also think there's like a competitiveness with Peyton, which is Peyton's a broadcaster. You know what I mean? And everybody, unlike some of the other broadcasters, none of the Blooms, everybody, I think that broadcast is great. People love it. I think he's going to be like, I'm going to crush these guys. I'm going to, I really do. So I bet he's going to be awesome. Awesome.
I tell my kids, they're tired of hearing it, but I always say, there's certain traits in people that are really important, and it's not where you went to school. One of the things that's really important is resilience. Don't be fragile. You're going to have shitty days. You're going to have horrible relationships. Don't be fragile. These people on the internet go sideways and upside down because somebody said something they don't like. You better get over it. Don't be fragile. Be mobile, be willing to move. But the other thing I tell my kids all the time is, in life, you will compete against yourself. I will never compete against Elon Musk or probably a ditch digger. I'll compete against people in my sphere, intellectually, emotionally. I'll be competing against me, right? Like, I'm not going to neuroscience. I'm not going to be competing against those people, and probably not against dog walkers, right? Like, I know where I'm competing against. And I think, so I think what my point is, if you're competing, it's almost, life's like boxing.
You're in your weight class. That's right.
You're competing essentially in life against yourself.
So Wilds made fun of me for this, and maybe I said this to you already on a podcast. If not, I don't care. I'll say it again because I truly feel this way, which is, I just said kind of flippantly to Wilds once about a different broadcaster. I was like, oh, they're one of my rivals. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, you have a bad relationship with him? I'm like, no, I've never met him. He's like, you just said they're your rival. I'm like, well, they're on the national scene and they're about my age. I must be more successful than them. And he was like, you're insane, buddy. I'm like, no. I was like, everybody has this. And he was adamant, no, normal people don't. And I'm so glad, because you didn't say it, but I think you did too. It seems like as you were coming up, you knew who the other guys in your, as you put it, weight class were. And I need to beat them is wrong, because you're not rooting for them to fail, but I need to be the valedictorian of the class, so to speak. That's how I've always felt. And so, like, the person, he said to me, he's like, so name a rival. And I said, really, the most ridiculous one, because this person has almost a universal approval rating. But I said Mina Kimes. I was like, she's my age. Everyone thinks she's super smart. She can talk about everything. She's my rival. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, it just is. Like, I hope she does well, but I need to do better. I was like, this is just how my brain works. And so, yes, and again, I'm not speaking for Tom because I don't know him at all. You know him somewhat. I don't know him at all. But I would imagine Tom looks at other broadcasters now as his rivals. Like, I need to be the best, which is why the other thing, and I did say this to you, I think, when Tom was on with you.
All right, the 82-game NBA preseason is in the books now. It's time for real basketball, the playoffs. Don't miss out any of the playoff action. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in tournament through the finals, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. Same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. All you have to do, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You know the drill. Takes about 90 seconds. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Put in the code COLIN, COLIN. New customers bet $5. That's it, $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, and you get it instantly. You can't lose. Code is Colin, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
You asked him about Patrick, and he had it was an unbelievable answer, which is he was super complimentary. And then he was like, and, anybody who can get to 7 Super Bowls, like, I tip my cap to him. And it was, to me, a very intentional kind of setting of the ground rules. Like, oh, yeah, anybody can say he's going to be the GOAT. No problem at all. But just so we're clear, if he doesn't get to 7 Super Bowls, it's not a conversation. Like, I don't want to hear about MVPs and I don't want to hear about yards. I think he is competitive in everything. And it's like, I'm the greatest football player ever. And this whole idea that this guy might be better than me one day, okay, sure. But don't you come to me with his yards and touchdowns and MVPs if he only has 5 measly Super Bowls, because the barrier to entry is 7. And I think I respect that. I think that's cool.